Ladies and gentlemen, brothers and sisters, let me ask you a question. How long have you been waiting? How long have you been sitting, expecting a sign from heaven, a miracle, a confirmation, an open door? You've been waiting, praying, seeking, but let me shock you today. God has already given you everything you need. You don't need another sign. You don't need another prophecy. You don't need another angel to descend from heaven. What you need is already within you. You were created with purpose. You were designed with destiny. God does not manufacture failures. When He formed you, He placed inside of you all the gifts, talents, and resources necessary to fulfill your assignment on this earth. You are not waiting on a sign. I know you've been praying, you've been seeking, and you've been asking God to give you a sign. You've been wondering, God, when will the breakthrough come? When will the door open? When will I finally see the evidence of the promise you've spoken over my life? And you've been standing still, waiting for that moment, hoping that one day a sign will appear to confirm that it's your time. But I want to shock you today. The sign you've been waiting for has already been given. It's not coming from the sky. It's not going to come in the form of a lightning bolt or some divine revelation. The sign is already within you. And it's time for you to realize that you have everything you need to move forward. You see, the problem is not that you're lacking direction. It's that you've been conditioned to believe that you must wait for some supernatural event to take place before you can act. The truth is, God has already provided you with everything necessary for you to fulfill your purpose. The gifts, the talents, the wisdom, the abilities, and the resources. You already possess them. The issue is that many of us have been waiting for permission, when in reality, the command to move was given the moment you were created. You were never created to be passive. You were designed for action, for purpose, for fulfillment, and for greatness. When God created Adam, He didn't give him a finished house or a completed city. He didn't give him a completed meal or a perfect ready-made world. No, God gave him the raw materials and said, now you go and do the work. Adam was given the land, the animals, and the resources to cultivate, to build, to create, and to grow. God didn't give him a chair to sit in. He gave him a tree to work with, a world to shape, and a purpose to fulfill. And here's the key. Adam wasn't waiting for a sign to tell him to start. He was already equipped with the knowledge and authority to begin right where he was, to work with what he had, and to trust that everything needed to fulfill his purpose was already in him and around him. And that same truth applies to you today. The sign you're waiting for isn't coming from somewhere outside of you, it's already inside you. It's the power to act, to create, to overcome, to speak, to lead, to build. It's already been deposited within your spirit, your mind, and your soul. The reason you're waiting is because you've been conditioned to think that God is going to drop something out of the sky, or that you need some miraculous event to validate your next step. But I'm here to tell you, you don't need a sign. You need activation. You need to stir up what's inside of you, to step out in faith and to begin the work that God has already prepared for you. I want you to understand something very clearly. God does not create failures. He does not give you an assignment and leave you unprepared. He doesn't send you into battle without giving you the tools and the strength you need to win. When God called you to this life, He called you to victory. He called you to success. But He also called you to responsibility. The sign isn't coming because God has already done His part. He has already given you what you need. Now it's your turn to act. So stop waiting for something outside of you to change in order for you to step into your destiny. The change must begin within you. The moment you realize that you have been equipped with everything you need to move forward is the moment your breakthrough happens. Your sign has already been given, not in the form of something that appears from the heavens, but in the form of the potential inside you. Every gift, every ability, every resource, and every talent that you need to fulfill your purpose is already in you. It's time to stop waiting and start acting. Your future is not dependent on something outside of you. It's dependent on what you choose to do with what you already have. The sign has been given, and that sign is you. You have what you need, and the time to move is now. God's creation of purpose is the foundation of everything you are. You were not created by accident, and you were certainly not created without purpose. From the very beginning, God designed you with intent, with meaning, and with a specific assignment in mind. Before you even formed in your mother's womb, God knew you. He had already written your story, and your purpose was established. You are not a product of randomness, nor are you a result of chance. You are the result of divine intent. And that intent is always tied to purpose. God does not create anything without a reason. Every animal, every plant, every star, and every person has been uniquely designed with a purpose. The universe is not a random collection of molecules and particles. No. It is a system that works in perfect harmony, governed by purpose. And you, my friend, are a part of that divine design. You were not placed on this earth just to take up space. You were created to make an impact, to bring value, to fulfill a need, and to leave a legacy. Too often, people go through life trying to figure out why they exist. They search for meaning in their jobs, in their relationships, in their accomplishments. But all too often they come up empty. Why? Because they are looking for purpose in the wrong places. Purpose is not something that is found externally. It is not in what you do, it is in who you are. Your purpose was given to you the moment you were created. It is embedded in your DNA, in your spirit, and in your identity. When God created you, He did not give you a random assortment of gifts and abilities. Every talent, every skill, every desire you have was placed within you for a reason. You were given these tools to accomplish a specific assignment. Think about it. If you were not created with purpose, then your existence would be meaningless. But God did not make you without purpose. He made you with a plan in mind, a plan that only you can fulfill. That plan is your purpose. It is unique to you. Now let me ask you something. Do you know your purpose? Are you living in alignment with what you were created to do? It is so easy to get caught up in the distractions of life, our jobs, our responsibilities, our struggles, and forget that we were created for something greater. But your purpose is not tied to what you do for a living. It's not about your title, your status, or your achievements. Your purpose is tied to who you are and the impact you are meant to have on the world. Your purpose is not just for your own benefit, it is for the benefit of others. You were created to serve, to give, and to contribute to the world around you. Your purpose is about making a difference, not just for yourself, but for the people you were meant to touch. Whether it's through your family, your community, your work, or your influence, your purpose is to bring something positive to this world. The reason you were created is not for your own glory, but for the glory of God and the advancement of His kingdom. You see, when you understand that you were created with purpose, everything changes. You stop wandering aimlessly through life. You stop making decisions based on fear or insecurity. You begin to live with confidence, knowing that you were made for something extraordinary. Purpose gives you clarity. It gives you direction. It gives you a sense of peace that no external circumstance can take away. God's creation of purpose is not just a theory. It is a reality that is meant to be lived out. You were created to do something specific, to be someone unique, and to fulfill a role that only you can fill. The world is waiting for you to step into your purpose. The people around you are waiting for you to step into your purpose. But your purpose is not something you have to search for outside of yourself. It is already within you. It has been written into the very fabric of your being. Your job is to discover it, to cultivate it, and to live it out. The moment you begin to walk in your purpose is the moment your life will change. You will no longer live for yourself. You will live for the calling that has been placed on your life. And when you live in alignment with your purpose, everything else falls into place. Activation, not waiting, is the key to unlocking the potential that lies dormant within you. You've been taught to wait for the right time, the right moment, and the right circumstances to take action. But I'm here to tell you that the right time is now. You are not waiting for a magical event to occur. You are not waiting for some external force to tell you that it's time to step into your purpose. The moment you were born, you were given everything you need to begin the journey. The power to act, to create, to build, and to grow is already within you, and it's time to activate it. Too many people live their lives in a state of waiting. They wait for the perfect opportunity, for a sign from above, or for someone to give them permission. But here's the truth. The opportunity is already before you. The sign is already inside of you. You are waiting for something that is already in your hands. The power to change your life, to change your situation, and to change your future is not in the future. It is in the present. It's time to stop waiting and start activating. Activation is not a passive process. It requires action, courage, and faith. It's not enough to sit back and hope that things will change. You have to take responsibility for your own life. You have to take responsibility for your destiny. Waiting for something to happen is like waiting for a seed to grow into a tree without ever planting it in the ground. You can't expect growth without taking the first step. You can't expect results without sowing the seeds of action. God has already given you the resources you need. He has already placed the vision in your heart. Now it's your turn to step out and activate those resources. Whether it's a talent, a gift, or an opportunity, you have what you need to get started. The mistake many people make is thinking that they have to wait for the perfect moment. They wait for everything to line up, for all the stars to align, for everything to be ideal. But the truth is, the best time to act is when it seems the hardest. The best time to move forward is when everything around you tells you to stay still. It's in those moments that your faith is activated. It's in those moments that you tap into the power that God has placed within you. Activation begins when you decide that you will no longer wait for permission. You don't need anyone's approval to step into your purpose. You don't need anyone's endorsement to fulfill your calling. You've already been approved by God. You've already been chosen. The only thing holding you back is your own decision to act. It's easy to wait. It's comfortable to sit back and hope that things will change on their own. But that's not the life you were created for. You were created for greatness, for action, for influence. You were created to take charge of your own destiny. God has given you the power to speak things into existence, to create the life you want and to transform the world around you. But you have to make the decision to activate that power. Think about the story of the Israelites in the wilderness. They were waiting for God to do something, but they were also stuck in a cycle of complaining and wandering. They had been given the promise of a land flowing with milk and honey, but they were unwilling to take the necessary steps to claim it. They were waiting for God to part the waters, to send fire from heaven, and to do all the work for them. But God had already given them everything they needed. He had equipped them with the strength, the courage, and the resources to claim the land. It wasn't about waiting for God to do something. It was about them activating the faith and courage to step into what had already been provided. Your purpose and your destiny are the same. They are waiting for you to activate them. Everything you need to accomplish your dreams is already inside of you. The vision has already been given. The doors have already been opened. It's time for you to stop waiting and start acting. It's time to take responsibility for your future, for your dreams, and for your destiny. You were never meant to sit idle. You were meant to rise up, to take action, and to fulfill the purpose that has been placed on your life. The moment you decide to activate what is inside of you, that's when the transformation begins. That's when the breakthrough happens. That's when the doors open and the opportunities begin to flow. But you can't sit back and wait for it to happen. You have to take that first step. You have to make that first move. You have to act in faith, knowing that everything you need is already within you. The time to move is now. The time to activate your purpose is now. Don't wait any longer. Step into what God has already prepared for you. God is waiting on you. Yes, you've been waiting for God to act, waiting for the breakthrough, waiting for the doors to open, waiting for things to fall into place. But what if I told you that the reality is God is not waiting on a better time, a different season, or the perfect moment? God is waiting on you. You see, many people live their lives believing that God is holding back his blessings, his promises, and his plans for them until they've earned them or proven themselves worthy. But the truth is, God has already done his part. He has already given you everything you need to succeed. He is not withholding anything from you. He is simply waiting for you to step into what he has already provided. When God created you, he did not create you to be passive. He did not design you to sit back and wait for things to happen. From the very beginning, God gave you dominion, authority, and power to act. He placed his image within you, and he gave you the ability to make decisions, to shape your world, and to walk in his promises. The Bible tells us in Genesis that God created man and gave him dominion over the earth. He didn't give man dominion over a perfect, trouble-free world. He gave man dominion over a world that needed to be cultivated, shaped, and brought into alignment with God's purpose. That's what you have been given. A responsibility to take action and a divine mandate to make things happen. God does not sit on the throne waiting for things to unfold according to your timeline. He is not sitting back holding his breath, waiting for you to figure it out. He has already figured it out. He has already provided for you. He has already laid the foundation, and now he is waiting for you to build upon it. He is waiting for you to trust in the gifts, talents, and abilities he has placed within you and take the first step. Too often we stand still waiting for divine intervention, when in fact God has already given us the tools to move forward. Think about it. When you were born, God put everything inside of you that you need to succeed. You were not created incomplete. You were not born with a shortage of anything that is necessary for you to fulfill your purpose. The vision that you carry, the passion in your heart, and the dreams in your spirit were placed there by God himself. But the only way to see those dreams come to fruition is through action. God will not do it for you. He will not take the first step for you. He will not push you through the door if you refuse to open it. He is waiting for you to take that first step, to activate the potential he has already placed inside of you. You see, God has already made the provision for your future. He has already opened the doors of opportunity. The breakthrough is not somewhere out there in the future. It's right here, right now, waiting for you to take action. You are not waiting for God to give you something more. You are waiting for yourself to step out in faith and use what you already have. God has already given you the resources, the strength, and the wisdom to move forward. What he is waiting for is your willingness to take action and trust him in the process. Many times we focus on what we don't have. We focus on the gaps, the lack, the perceived limitations. But God is not waiting for you to be perfect before he acts. He is waiting for you to be willing, to be obedient, and to trust that he has already provided everything you need. The resources are there. The connections are there. The favor is there. But it's up to you to step into it. It's up to you to take the step of faith, to take the leap, to move forward with confidence, knowing that God is backing you up every step of the way. It's time to stop waiting for things to change and start changing things. God has already done his part. Now it's time for you to do yours. Your destiny is not determined by what happens around you. It is determined by what happens within you. You have the power to change your situation, to change your future, and to change your life. God has already given you the authority, the wisdom, and the power. But he is waiting for you to move. He is waiting for you to believe in what he has already placed inside of you. The question is, will you act? Will you step into the purpose that God has already prepared for you? Will you stop waiting and start moving? God is not waiting for the perfect moment. He is waiting for you to act. Your future is in your hands. The time to move is now. The time to take responsibility for your destiny is now. God is waiting on you. The power within you is far greater than you realize. For too long, you have been looking outside yourself for the change, the solution, or the breakthrough you so desperately desire. You've been hoping that someone or something will come along and give you what you need. But the truth is, everything you need to achieve your destiny, to fulfill your purpose, and to live the life God has intended for you is already within you. It's not something that you have to wait for. It's not something you need to find. It's already embedded within the very core of who you are. The power within you is the key to unlocking your potential. And once you recognize and activate that power, nothing can stand in your way. From the moment you were created, God placed a measure of his divine power within you. This power is not just some abstract concept, but a real, tangible force that is capable of transforming your life. It's the power to create, to change, to overcome, and to lead. It is the same power that brought the world into existence, the same power that created everything in the universe, and the same power that raised Jesus from the dead. And guess what? That power resides in you. You are not a passive observer in your own life. You are not just waiting for something to happen. You have the ability to make things happen. The power to shape your future, to take control of your destiny, and to influence the world around you is already inside you. But too many people live their lives unaware of the immense power that God has placed within them. They look outside themselves for validation, for resources, and for opportunities, when the very thing they are looking for is already within their grasp. When God created man, he gave him dominion over the earth. He didn't say, I will give you dominion when you are ready. He gave man authority and power from the very beginning. That power was given to man to govern, to cultivate, and to create. And that same power is still available to you today. God has not taken that power away. He has not withdrawn his authority from you. The only thing that has changed is your awareness of that power. When you look at the circumstances around you, it's easy to feel powerless. You may look at your situation, your finances, your relationships, or your career and think, how can I change this? But the reality is, the power to change it is already within you. The ability to overcome any obstacle, to solve any problem, and to achieve any goal is already embedded in your DNA. The question is not whether or not you have the power, but whether or not you are willing to tap into it. To activate the power within you, you must first recognize that it is there. You cannot change your situation if you do not believe that you have the ability to change it. The power to succeed is not something that is given to a select few. It's not something reserved for the rich or the famous. It is available to everyone. You have been given the power to succeed, to lead, and to create. You just have to believe that it is there and that you are capable of accessing it. Too many people live their lives as though they are powerless, as though their circumstances define them. They think that they are at the mercy of the world around them, that their success or failure is determined by external forces. But the truth is, you are not defined by your circumstances. You are defined by the power that resides within you. Your circumstances do not have the final say. You have the ability to change your situation, to rise above your challenges, and to create the future you desire. The key to activating this power is faith. You must believe that the power within you is real and that it is greater than anything you face. You must believe that you can do all things through Christ who strengthens you. You must have the faith to act, to step out, and to take that first step even when you don't see the whole picture. The power within you is released when you begin to move in faith, when you take action based on the belief that you have the ability to succeed. The power within you is not just for your own benefit. It's for the benefit of those around you. Your life has the potential to impact the lives of others in ways you can't even imagine. The power you possess is not meant to be kept to yourself. It's meant to be shared, to be used to bless others, and to make a difference in the world. You are called to lead, to influence, and to serve. You are called to make an impact, and the power within you is the force that will enable you to do so. Once you understand the power that lies within you, you will never look at your life the same way again. You will no longer wait for the world to change. You will begin to change the world. You will no longer wait for someone else to take the lead. You will become the leader. You will no longer wait for opportunities to come to you. You will create opportunities. The power within you is the key to unlocking the future that God has destined for you. The only thing holding you back is your willingness to believe in that power and to activate it. The time is now. The power is in you. It's time to unleash it. The time to act is now. Far too many people spend their lives putting off what they know they are supposed to do, waiting for the perfect moment, the right conditions, or the ideal circumstances. But what if I told you that the perfect moment will never come unless you act now? The truth is, the time to act is not tomorrow, next week, or next year. It's now. You've been given everything you need, but you have to take the first step. You've been waiting for things to fall into place, but the only way for them to do so is by you stepping out in faith, trusting in what has already been placed within you. Action is the catalyst for transformation. Nothing changes in your life until you move. You may have the vision, the dream, and the desire, but without action, those things will remain unfulfilled. The problem is, too many people wait for everything to align before they make a move. They wait until they feel ready, until they have more resources, or until the timing feels right. But the truth is, you will never feel fully ready. The resources will never all be available at once, and the timing will never feel perfect. If you keep waiting for the right conditions, you will be waiting for the rest of your life. The time to act is now. Think about it. When God called Abraham, He didn't wait for Abraham to be in the perfect position. He didn't wait until Abraham had everything figured out. He simply said, go. And Abraham went. Without knowing all the details, without knowing where he was going, and without knowing how everything would unfold, he acted on faith. And it was through that act of obedience that the entire destiny of Abraham and his descendants was shaped. That's how it works. You may not have all the answers right now, and that's okay. You may not have all the resources or all the support you think you need, but you have to start where you are with what you have. The time to act is now. You've been given a vision, and it's your responsibility to take action. Don't wait for someone else to do it for you. Don't wait for the world to change. It's time for you to step up and take action. Every moment you delay is a moment lost. Every day you wait is a day you'll never get back. Time waits for no one. It doesn't care about your plans, your worries, or your insecurities. Time keeps moving forward, and the longer you wait to take action, the further you get from your goal. You have a limited amount of time on this earth. You have a purpose, and that purpose requires action. The more you delay, the further you move away from the fulfillment of that purpose. The time to act is now. Procrastination is a killer of dreams. It steals your potential, robs you of your opportunities, and leaves you with nothing but regret. But when you act, when you take that first step, even in the face of uncertainty, something begins to shift. things start to align and doors begin to open. The world responds to action. The universe responds to movement. It's when you move that God moves. When you step out in faith, the resources will begin to come. When you make the decision to act, opportunities will begin to show up. But that will never happen if you continue to wait. You must act now. The moment you decide to act, something powerful happens. You stop being a passive observer in your life, and you start becoming the creator of your destiny. You begin to shape your future instead of allowing circumstances to shape it for you. You begin to direct your life rather than being led by it. It's when you act that you discover the strength within you, the courage you didn't know you had, and the power to overcome every obstacle in your path. But all of that is unlocked when you act. You may face challenges, you may face fear, you may face setbacks, but none of that matters if you're moving forward. Every step you take, no matter how small, moves you closer to your goal. The key is not perfection, the key is progress. Every step is a step closer to fulfillment, a step closer to your purpose, and a step closer to the future that God has designed for you. The time to act is now. The world needs you. The people around you need you to act. Your community needs you to act. The purpose that you were created for cannot be fulfilled if you sit back and wait for the perfect time. That time will never come unless you make it happen. The time to act is now. The doors will open when you walk toward them. The resources will be provided when you move in faith. The opportunities will manifest when you take action. But it all starts with you. You are the one who has to make the decision. You are the one who has to take the step. The time to act is now. Don't wait. Step into your destiny today. Let me tell you something. This is your sign. This message right here is your confirmation. No more waiting. No more excuses. No more delays. Get up. Step out. Walk in faith. Heaven has already spoken. And the earth is waiting for you to manifest your purpose. The time is now. The season is here. Go and do what you were born to do.